So this will be our topic for this morning. Okay, so equilibration. So yung ability ng normal persons to maintain posture or maintain balance or equilibrium. Okay, so here are the different objectives or the objectives for this topic. So discuss or review again the functional anatomy ng mga structures responsible for maintaining posture or equilibrium. And discuss the activities of the said structures when the body is not moving, and also if there is movement, whether angular or linear. Okay. And explain the physiologic basis of the different tests for vestibular function. And discuss some clinical conditions affecting the said structures responsible for maintaining posture or balance or equilibrium. Okay? So, the said condition is, yung maintenance ng normal body position in relation to space or normal posture. Okay? It is considered a sensation. And in some books, it is considered special. In other books, it is considered general. We consider it special when we are only thinking of involvement ng structures present in the inner ear. But the said structures, they are also aided by other receptors present in other parts ng body, yung mga proprioceptors, the exteroceptors. So in some books, it is considered a general sense. As mentioned, if you only consider the receptors present in the inner ear, it's considered special. Okay? Yan ang sabi, normal posture or good posture when a person is standing. Okay? We have also bad postures when standing. Okay? So ito yung good posture or normal posture. Standing yan. We have also good posture or normal posture when sitting. Yan ang correct sitting posture. Okay? Pag ganito, yan ang mga incorrect or abnormal sitting positions. Okay? Why is it that we need to know what is the normal posture when standing or sitting? Because poor posture can lead to certain disorders or abnormalities. Okay? It can cause damage to vertebral bones, the joints, the spinal discs. Okay? Pwede ka magkaroon ng mga back pain, neck pain, and joint pains. And it will also prevent the lungs from full expansion. And it makes a person look less confident. Mas mukha kang maliit. And makes one look heavier. And it has so many negative effects on the overall health of a person. Kaya dapat maintain natin yung good posture. Okay? And what are the structures involved? So just recall the reflex arc. So yung sensory receptors, the sensory afferent neurons of the different receptors, the center, the efferent neurons, and the effectors. And naturally, the effectors are skeletal muscles. And collectively, we call them the anti-gravity muscles or the postural muscles. So here are these muscles. Okay? And these muscles, majority of them or all of them are extensor muscles ng body. One extensor muscle ng body also involved in maintaining good posture is not present here. It is also an extensor muscle, but not considered anti-gravity. Yun yung triceps. That will lead to extension of the arm. When we extend the arm, the movement is pro-gravity or along the effects of gravitational forces. So hindi siya anti-gravity. Pero kasama siya sa postural muscles. Ang heading nito, anti-gravity muscles. So, hindi included yung triceps. Ayan, mga extensor muscles yan. Extensor ng neck, ng back, ng lower extremities. Okay? And ang efferent neurons niyan, yung alpha motor neurons. Okay? Connected to the muscle fibers. Na-discuss nyo na yun. Okay? Yung mga centers for us to maintain balance or equilibrium. So some are present in the spinal cord. Okay? Others are in the brainstem. We have also some of them in the cerebral cortex and also in the cerebellum. Okay? We'll talk about these centers later. Okay? Yung mga receptors. So we have receptors present in the inner ear. We call them the vestibular apparatus. And in some books, they are referred to as the labyrinthine structures. Okay? We have the bony labyrinth, ayan, yung semicircular canals, the vestibule, the cochlea. But remember, the cochlea is not involved in maintaining postural balance. So sa hearing yan, involved yan sa audition. So we remove the cochlea. Okay? Yun lang, semicircular canals and the vestibule. Okay? Other than the bony labyrinth, another labyrinthine structures are the membranous labyrinth, yung utricle and saccule. Yan ang mga vestibular apparatus. Okay? As mentioned, the activity of these receptors, if you're only concerned with the activity of these receptors, we can consider the said condition, yung ability to maintain balance or equilibration, a special sense. But normally, the activity of these receptors are aided by other receptors. Yung mga exteroceptors o proprioceptors, so, di ba? Is a position sense. And even the photoreceptors can help maintain posture. Kaya sabi, it is also at times considered general sensation. Pero most important, yung vestibular apparatus. Okay? Because if a person is having abnormal o vestibular apparatus, pag abnormal ito, yung labyrinthine structures, a person will have difficulty maintaining balance with eyes closed. Pero pag open yung eyes, na-maintain yung posture. O pag destroyed yung inner ear structures, o nasa inner ear to. Okay? Pag nag-close tayo ng eyes, so will not be able to determine body position if we have destroyed vestibular apparatus. Okay? And even if we can maintain posture using the eyes, we cannot move fast. Ang movement natin, very slow. Kasi titingnan muna natin yung environment and the relation of the different body parts of the environment before we can perform a motor activity. Okay? O yan yung mga exteroceptors. Discuss na yan sa general sensation. And also the proprio. Yung mga proprioceptors. So yung mga receptors present in the muscle spindles, the GTO, okay? Even muscles in the joints, yung mga receptors in the joints, yung mga joint receptors. So involved yun sa proprioception. Okay? Ang mga afferent fibers nito, yung mga type A alpha and type A beta fibers. Sensory neurons yan okay? Connected to sensory receptors, kaya afferent. Another important receptors are the receptors present in the eyes. So yung mga photoreceptors. As mentioned, if a person is having destroyed vestibular apparatus or labyrinthine structures, they rely on the photoreceptors for them to maintain postural balance. Kaya pag nag-close ng eyes, they have difficulty maintaining posture. If a person is having destroyed labyrinthine structures. Okay? Yung afferent yan, siyempre, alam mo na yun, optic nerve. Okay? Right and left. Okay? But if a person is having normal labyrinthine structures o normal yung canals, utricle saccule, o absent lang yung visual system or may abnormality sa vision, the person can still maintain balance or posture. And they can also perform fast movements. Once they are now accustomed or they have undergone adaptation with the said condition, nasanay na kapag giging blind. Di ba? So, ang importante nga, yung vestibular apparatus. Okay? And the vestibular apparatus present sabi sa inner ear. Okay? So, andun siya sa temporal bone, yung petrous part ng temporal bone. Di ba ang ears divided into three parts. Meron tayong outer ear, middle ear, inner ear. Di ba right and left yan? So, one ear, they have three parts. So, yung outer ear, made up of the pinna, the external auditory canal, and ends at the tympanic membrane or the eardrum. Okay? After the eardrum, once you go inward, or centrally, we now have the middle ear that contains the auditory ossicles. Involved yan sa hearing. Na-discussion yan sa audition. As mentioned, the vestibular apparatus or the labyrinthine structures are present in the inner ear. Okay? So, andyan yung mga canals, the utricle and saccule, okay? And the cochlea. Hindi na nga natin di-discuss. We'll not talk about anyone about the cochlea. Sa hearing yan. Okay? So yung activity nila, okay, transmitted or the impulses generated are transmitted to the cranial nerve number 8, the vestibulocochlear nerve. O nag-share na doon yung mga activity na structures responsible for maintaining posture and the structure involved in hearing. Kaya dalawa trabaho noon, di ba? Kaya tinawag na vestibulocochlear nerve. Okay? Yung vestibular portion niya receives impulses from the canals, the utricle and saccule. O di yung cochlear portion niya receives impulses from the cochlea. O involved yung sa hearing. Okay? So, ang concern lang natin yung labyrinthine structures. And we have a pair of these structures, one in the right, one in the left. Ito top view ito, ayan, top view. So, yan yung anterior, ito yung posterior. Okay? And sabi, we have one on the right and one on the left. Okay? Tapos when a person is not moving or is stationary, the said receptors present in the labyrinthine structures, okay, even if we are not moving, active yun. Once a person is already awake, alert, active na sila, generating impulses, transmitting it to the higher centers. As under normal condition, when there is no movement or a person is stationary, the activity of the receptors present in the left and the right labyrinthine structures, equal yun. Pag equal yung activity, left and right, mga receptors present in the said structures, sa canals, the utricle and saccule, equal the activity ng left sa right side. That indicates there is no movement of the head. Steady yung head, pwedeng steady rin yung body. Okay? Basta equal yung activity, left and right labyrinthine structures. Okay? That means there is no movement of the head. Okay? Okay na? So importante yung utricle and saccule, semicircular canals. Hindi na kasama yung cochlea. Cochlea sa hearing yan. Okay? So if we magnify the said structure, okay? So interconnected yun, yung mga canals, the utricle and saccule, plus the cochlea. Tapos yung canals, we have 3 canals in each ear. 2 are vertically positioned, 1 is horizontally positioned. Tapos yung vertical, we have the anterior or superior, vertical canals. Tapos meron ang horizontally positioned and a posteriorly positioned vertical canal. Minsan ang tawag nila inferior. Okay? So dalawa yung vertical canals, 1 horizontal canal in each ear. So merong mirror image yan sa opposite ear. And the canals are, they undergo convergence sa vestibular part ng inner ear, yung vestibule. Tapos yung nag-converge at the vestibular area, we call it the ampulla, the dilated part of the canal. And inside the dilated part ng canal, we have there the receptor hair cells. Also in the vestibule, where we have the ampulla of the canals, present also in the said area are the utricle and saccule. Okay? By the way, yung receptor system ng ampulla, we call it the crista ampullaris. Within the vestibule, where we have the convergence ng mga dilated part ng canals, yung ampulla. Okay? We have also there the membranous labyrinth, the utricle and the saccule. Ang receptor area naman nila, we call it the macula. Okay? So hindi na natin di-discuss yung cochlea sa hearing yan. So yan ang mga important structures. So helping us maintain balance or maintain equilibrium. Okay? Now, yung arrangement ng said canals, di ba? 3 in each ear. So we have a total of 6. But although we have a total of 6 canals present in the head, in both ears, 3 per ear, di ba? They are only representing 3 planes in space because of their arrangement. Meron tayong 6 canals, 3 per ear. But they're only, as mentioned, representing 3 planes in space. Because, they are arranged in pairs. Naka-arrange yan pares-pares. Okay? So, the canals are arranged in pairs. So, naturally, paired yung right horizontal with the left horizontal. And they're representing what? The horizontal plane. Okay? Doon naman sa mga vertical canals, ang na-observe, the right anterior canal is normally paired with the left posterior canal. Oh, ayan na, yung right anterior, ayan, is paired with the left posterior canal. Okay? Because of the positioning of the said canal, so yung right anterior and left posterior, they're representing the same plane and ang kanilang plane of orientation. Identical yan, yung right anterior and left posterior canal. Tapos yung remaining canals, yung kay right posterior and the left anterior, yun naman ang kay normally paired. Okay, yung right posterior and left anterior canals. Okay, semicircular canals. They represent this plane of orientation. Ayan. Pareho yung kanilang plane of orientation, the left anterior canal and the right posterior canal. Kaya as mentioned, although we have 6 canals, they're only representing 3 planes in space. Okay? And the said positioning of the canals are essential for us to detect head movement. Ayan, pag may tilting ng head towards the left or right shoulder, okay, or movement ng head in the frontal plane, that will activate only the vertical canals. Activated lang vertical canals. Pag head tilting to the left or to the right. When we put our head on the left or the right shoulder. So activated yan, vertical canals lang. Frontal plane yan. Ang movement ng head. Now, when there is activation of all canals, that means we are moving our head up and down. When we say yes, when we nod our head, ang movement noon, median plane. So activated all canals, horizontal and vertical. In both ears. Okay? Pag nag-move naman tayo ng head, when we move our head, okay, to the right or to the left, okay, usually it indicates a negative answer. To indicate no, or you don't agree with what was mentioned. Ang plane of movement on horizontal. So ma-activate lang horizontal canals. Okay? So importante yan yung positioning na yun ng mga canals in the 2 ears. And yung mga canals, ayan, essential yan for dynamic equilibrium. There is movement. We still maintain the normal position of the head. Di ba? Extended neck, upright head. Okay? Yun ang common natin when there is movement. Okay? And they're also concerned with angular acceleration. So, ayan ulit yung mga canals, di ba? Yung dilated part nila nasa vestibular area. Ayan, nasa vestibule. Okay? And in the dilated part, as mentioned, kaya nga tawag doon sa nerve, receiving impulses from the receptor area ng canals present in the ampulla. Di ba tawag sa nerve, vestibular nerve? Kasi nag-convert sila sa area ng vestibule. And as mentioned, in the dilated part ng canals, we have there in the said part ng canals, the receptor hair cells. And the receptor hair cells are present underneath the cupula. Okay? Underneath yun ng cupula. We have the cupula also present in the ampulla of the semicircular canals. The receptor hair cells are present underneath the cupula. If we magnify that portion, magnify natin yan. The ampulla where we see the cupula. Ayan siya. Okay? So, the canals, they contain a fluid we call the endolymph. May fluid yan tawag endolymph. So, yung ampulla contains the cupula. This is a gelatinous substance wherein underneath we have the hair cells. And what are really embedded in the gelatinous substance we call the cupula are the filaments or the hairs of the hair cells. So underneath the cupula, we now have the body of the receptor cells or yung hair cells. Okay? And their fibers will converge to form the vestibular nerve. Para matransmit na impulses to the higher center. Okay? And usually, when they communicate with the vestibular nerve, they utilize a neurotransmitter agent. Di ba? Special senses to. Ang mga sensory neurons niyan, okay? They are not directly connected to the sensory receptors. So, meron silang synapse. So, they utilize neurotransmitter agents. Okay? If not glutamate, they can use aspartate. Okay? Ito ulit yung kanal. Ito horizontal canal ito. Okay? Semicircular. Okay. So inside the canal, sabi, it contains a fluid we call endolymph. And the dilated part ng canal is called the ampulla. Inside the ampulla, we have the cupula. And underneath the cupula, we have the hair cells. What are embedded in the gelatinous substance in cupula are the filaments or hairs of the hair cells. Ayan. Okay? So underneath, we have the hair cells. Okay? As magko-convert sa mga fibers no, to synapse with the afferent neurons. So, yung vestibular nerve. Para mag-send na impulses sa higher center. Okay? And when we activate the canals, it will depend on the movement. When we activate the receptor cells, not the canals. When we activate the receptor cells present in the ampulla ng canals underneath the cupula, we need to move the head. Di ba kailangan may movement ng head? When the head moves, di ba, the canals are bony labyrinth. So they are fixed in the temporal bone. So when the head moves, the canals will also move in the same direction. Okay, pag may movement yung canal, so we will also observe displacement of the endolymph. Kasi fluid yan inside the canals. Pag nag-move yung canal, mag-move din ang endolymph. And the movement of the endolymph will lead to displacement ng cupula. We will displace the cupula. If we displace the cupula, we alter the activity of the hair cells present underneath the cupula. So it can either undergo depolarization or hyperpolarization, depending on the movement ng hair cells due to the displacement of the cupula. So we'll talk about that later. Okay? Pero to activate the hair cells, we need to move the canals. And the movement of the canals will depend on movement of the head. Because the canals, di ba, bony labyrinth yan. Fixed yan sa temporal bone. Okay? And they observe the specific gravity ng cupula is equivalent or equal to the specific gravity ng endolymph. So it is not affected by gravitational forces. So sabi nga, to activate the receptors present in the ampulla, present underneath the cupula, we need to move the head. Okay? Para ma-activate yung receptor sa hair cells present in the canal. So specifically in the ampulla, present underneath the cupula. Ito, isa pang picture niya. Ayan. Yung ampulla. Yung blue colored structure diyan, yan ang cupula. Gelatinous substance yan. Yung mga filaments lang ng receptor cells ang embedded in the cupula. Yung body ng hair cells ay present underneath the cupula. Okay? Kaya nga yung movement ng hair cells will depend on movement ng canals, which is dependent on movement ng the head. That will cause displacement ng cupula due to the movement of the endolymph present inside the canals. Okay? Okay? So, by the way, yung binanggit naman kanina na yun, yung receptor area ng semicircular canals, we call it the crista ampullaris. Kasi present sa ampulla, di ba? Kaya tawag nila crista ampullaris. So, another structure present in the labyrinth, yung utricle and saccule. So, almost similar ang characteristic niya with the canals. Okay? Meron din siyang endolymph. It has also a gelatinous substance. Pero not having a shape similar to the cupula. Di ba ang cupula bulb-like? Parang bulb. Okay? Ito, it's a horizontal mass of gelatin. Okay? So, layers siya, okay, ng gelatinous substance present in the utricle and saccule. Okay, so underneath the gelatinous layer, we have also the receptor hair cells. Embedded in the gelatinous layer are also the filaments of the hair cells present underneath the gelatinous layer of the utricle and saccule. Ang only difference lang nila, the said gelatinous layer present in the utricle and saccule, they have the calcium carbonate crystals present on top of the gelatinous layer. And the said crystals are usually referred to as the otoconia. Pareho lang, mga hair cells present underneath the gelatinous layer. Ang iba nga, ang difference nga lang from the canals, yung crista ampullaris, yung gelatinous substance sa utricle and saccule, on top of which there are presence of calcium carbonate crystals called otoconia. Okay? Sa ibang libro, in other books, it is referred to as the statoconia. As in some books, it is referred to as the otoliths. So meron siyang different names. Statoconia, otoconia, and the otoliths. They're all referring to the crystals present on top of the gelatinous layer. If we magnify the area, by the way, yung specific gravity ng otoconia greater than the endolymph. Sorry. So this is the one affected by gravity. Ito yung affected ng gravity. So ito yung mga gravity receptors. So this will help us determine head position even if there is no movement of the head. Okay? So steady lang ang head. Okay? So, what can affect the receptor cells present in the utricle and the saccule? It's the effect of gravity. Yung gravity exerting its effect on the otoconia, di ba, present on top of the gelatinous layer. That can now affect the activity of the hairs, nung hair cells present embedded in the gelatinous layer. So, that will affect activity of the hair cells underneath the gelatinous layer. Okay? Kaya once we are awake, alert, na-stimulate na agad yan ng gravity. Okay? So, ito yung mga gravity receptors. Okay? Pag magnify natin, we magnify the area ng gelatinous layer containing the statoconia and the hair cells. Ito siya. Ayan. Okay? So, ayan yung mga nerve fibers, the hair cells, the gelatinous layer, or the gelatinous material. So, layer siya, hindi siya arranged or, they don't have a shape similar to the cupula. So, hindi siya bulb-like. It's a layer of gelatinous substance. Tapos, on top of the gelatinous substance, ay yung mga calcium carbonate crystals. Ang tawag nga ng iba, statoconia, yung iba, otoconia. Tapos, sa ibang libro, ang tawag sa kanya, otoliths. Okay? Together with the gelatinous substance. Okay? Minsan yung gelatinous area or gelatinous layer, ang tawag nila otolithic membrane. Minsan tinatawag rin otoconia, yung calcium carbonate crystals. Because of the presence of these crystals, ito yung mga receptor cells in the labyrinth affected by gravity. Ito yung mga gravity receptors. And collectively, we call this area in the utricle or the saccule, the macula. Ito yung receptor area ng utricle and saccule. Pag canals, we call it crista ambularis. Tapos yung receptor cell sa macula, ito yung affected by gravity. Kasi nga, yung specific gravity ng otoconia greater than the endolymph. Ito yung mga gravity receptors. Okay? Tapos similar to the canals, yung utricle and saccule, we have also structures, positioned in a horizontal manner. Okay? One of them is positioned in a vertical manner. So, if the head is upright, normal position, upright head, upright position. What is normally in the horizontal position? Yung macula na utricle. Macula utriculi. So, yun ang naka-horizontal. So, therefore, yung macula ng saccule, it is the one normally in the vertical position. So, meron ding vertically positioned macula. Merong vertically positioned macula. Para sa canals, merong horizontally positioned canals. Merong vertically positioned canals. Okay? Kasi ulit sila. Okay? Ito yung macula ng saccule, vertically positioned. And the macula ng utricle, horizontally positioned. Okay? Kaya similar ang position niya with the horizontal canal. Siyempre, horizontal position. Ito naka-vertical, dissimilar sa vertical canals. Okay? But they are saying, when the said is really in the upright position, extended neck, the said structures na said to be horizontal canal or horizontally positioned macula, they're not really in the horizontal plane. Slightly, naka-incline siya. Yan ang position. When the head is upright. So, to make really the said structures really in the horizontal position, yung macula na utricle and the horizontal semicircular canals. They are saying we must flex the neck and allow the head to move forward about 30 degrees forward. Okay? Magbe-bend yung neck. Ventral flexion. So allowing the head to move forward about 30 degrees forward to really make the macula utriculi in the horizontal plane or position the utricle, yung macula na utricle in the horizontal plane, even the horizontal canals. Kasi pag upright ang position, it's not really in the horizontal plane. Okay, ayan na. Kaya pag mag-examine kayo ng horizontal canal, you remember this. So you position the head in that manner. 30 degrees forward. Okay? Tapos under normal condition nga, yung macula na utricle, yun na naka-horizontal. Di ba ang normal common natin, standing, sitting position. Always position our head in the upright position, extended neck. Di ba? Ayan. So ang naka-horizontal, yung macula na utricle. Yung saccule naka-vertical. Which one is mostly affected by gravity? Telling or informing the center about the head position na upright, extended ang neck. So which one is mostly affected by gravity? So it's the utricle. Okay? So yun ang stimulated by gravity. Okay? Yung saccule inhibited. What is now the importance of the saccule? Kung inhibited rin naman pala siya when the head is upright. So it is important when a person is in the lying position. Pag nag-lie down ka, okay? Or you lie down flat on bed, di ba? Okay? When we assume that position, lying position, naka-horizontal tayo nun, okay? So yung saccule ngayon ang horizontally position. Yung utricle ang vertically position. So in this position, lying or horizontal position ng body, the person can still determine head position. Yung non-moving head while in the lying position because of the stimulation ng macula of the saccule. Yan ang stimulated by gravity. Inhibited naman ng utricle. Okay? That will explain why even in a lying position, we are able to know the head position in relation to our body. Yan ang activated mostly pag nakahiga, macula ng saccule. Okay? Tapos yung mga hair cells, we have two types. Meron type 1 which are mostly present in the macula. Nasa macula yan, merong otoliths or otocornea. Yung type 2, okay, are mostly present in the crista ampullaris. Okay? Kasi if we review again the hair cells, ano yung mga structures present. So as mentioned, they are hair cells because they have filaments present on top. Okay? And the filaments, collectively, we call them the cilia or the hairs. Pero commonly referred to as cilia. Okay? So one of the cilium is taller, having greater diameter than the other cilia. And that is called the kinocilium. Okay? Yung smaller cilia, smaller, okay? Yung height, okay? Tapos lesser ang diameter. They are the sterocilia. So meron lang tayong one tall kinocilium. Having a bigger diameter. Yun ang kinocilium. And the said, okay, different filaments, yung sterocilia and kinocilium, they are connected to each other by a filamentous connection. So we call the tip links. That will explain why when one cilium moves in a certain direction, it will pull the other cilia also in the same direction. All for one yan, one for all. Because of the said filamentous connections of the tip links. Even the kinocilium, connected yan to the next cilium. So when one moves to the right, it will pull the other cilia also in the same direction. Pag na-pull mo to, when we pull the kinocilium to the left, it will pull the other cilia also in the same direction. That will change the activity of the hair cells. Okay? And when we activate the hair cells. So we don't involve sodium channels. So ang na-involve dyan, potassium and calcium channels. So di ba receptors yan? So electrically, meron din siyang activity. May electrical activity yan. And the resting membrane potential, it's about negative 60 millivolts. So pag na-activate siya, we change the said electrical activity. It can also undergo depolarization and hyperpolarization. Pag nag-depolarize, so as mentioned, we don't use sodium channels. We utilize the potassium and calcium channels to allow the receptor cells to undergo depolarization. Okay? And di ba special sensation yan? So hindi siya directly attached to the sensory apparent nerve. So they utilize a neurotransmitter agent. It could be glutamate or aspartate to send impulses or communicate with each specific sensory neuron. Tapos pag na-activate yun, okay? Pag na-activate siya, okay? Ito, pakinggan nyo mahinga. When we observe increased activity nung cilia, nung hair cells, there should be movement ng kinocilium away from the stereocilia. Mag-move yung kinocilium. Ang movement ng kinocilium away from the stereocilia. Or we see movement ng stereocilia towards the kinocilium. Diba? Because when one moves in a certain direction, it will pull the other cilia in the same direction because of the filamentous connections. Kaya pag gumalaw yung isa to the right, all the other cilia will also move to the right because of the said interconnections. Yung mga tip links. Okay? So pag ang movement, in that direction, the kinocilium moving away from stereocilia or the stereocilia moving towards the kinocilium, mag-open up yan ng mga potassium channels which are mechanically gated. They're called mechanically gated because they're activated when there is movement of the cilia. Pag nag-move yung cilia, so the movement, so mechanical activation yun. So these are mechanically gated potassium channels that will eventually open if there is movement ng cilia. And when it happens, we alter the electrical activity of the hair cells, especially sa region ng cilia. Yung stereocilia and the kinocilium. And that will eventually open up voltage-gated calcium channels. Okay? Kasi pag nag-open yung mechanically gated potassium channels, so magkaroon ng potassium influx sa mga cilia, included ng kinocilium. That will alter the electrical activity, the resting membrane potential. So yung electrical change will open up voltage-gated calcium channels in the body ng hair cells. And that will open up the said channels, di ba? Allowing calcium to move inward. Allowing the cell to depolarize. So for us to see depolarization, as mentioned, it will not involve activation of sodium channels. Walang sodium ions there. Potassium and calcium ang involved. When it happens, yung eventual activation of depolarization ng hair cells will cause release of transmitter agents that will interact with the apparent nerve, yung cranial nerve number 8. It could be aspartate or glutamate. Okay? Kasi ang na-observe, yung mga receptor cells, whether in the macula or crista ampullaris, once a person is awake, alert, basta nagising ka na, okay? They're already active. Okay? Generating impulses, transmitting it to the higher center at a rate of 100 to 200 impulses per second. Equal yun, both ears. Left and right, okay? Crista and macula. Pag equal yun, that means there is no movement of the head. Walang movement ng head yun. Okay? What if there is no movement? Okay? Movement ng head. So we alter the position of the resting hair cells. Pag nag-move sila, okay? In that direction, ano sabi? If that is the movement, what will happen to the hair cells? Magdi-depolarize, magdi-decrease yung activity. Ay, wala sumasagot? Ba't ganon? Hello? Hello? Narinig ba ako?
Yes.
Hello? Ay, akala ko wala pa rin sasagot. Okay. So, ano mangyayari? What will happen? Nakasulat na eh, okay? So magdi-depolarize, di ba yung diniscuss kanina? Mag-open up yung mga mechanically gated potassium channels if that is the movement. Eventually allowing the opening also of the voltage gated calcium channels. So yung action potentials generated will be greater than 200. Okay? So na-activate siya eh. What if the movement is in the opposite direction? Oh, that will prevent opening of the potassium channels. So the cell will not have depolarization. Instead, it will undergo a hyperpolarizing change. Magdi-decrease activity ng mga mechanically gated potassium channels and naturally the voltage gated calcium channels. So di ba pag hyperpolarized ang excitable cell, we render the cell less excitable. So it's difficult to generate action potentials. So lesser action potentials are generated. Pag ganyan ang direction ng movement ng mga cilia of the hair cells or the filaments, mag-hyperpolarize siya. Okay? So the ungenerated action potential less than 100. So ibig sabihin inhibited or decrease yung activity ng hair cells. And it can happen. Some hair cells will undergo depolarization. Some hair cells will undergo hyperpolarization if there is movement of the head. Okay? Kaya pag resting sila, even in that condition, resting yan meron na siyang generation na impulses. 100 to 200 impulses per second. Equal yan both ears. So that means we are not moving our head. Hindi gumagalaw yung ulo. Okay? Once there is displacement or movement ng hair cells in that direction, ayaw pa rin sumagot. Ano makikita mo change? Depolarization, hyper.
Depolarization.
Di ba magdi-depolarize? So mag-increase yung, yan ang mga action potentials. Di ba nakikita nyo itong cursor? Yan ang number ng action potentials generated pag resting siya. Pag you displace the hair cells in this manner, yung cilia ng hair cells in this manner, mag-open up yung mga potassium channels, mechanically gated. And it will eventually open up voltage-gated calcium channels, allowing the cell to depolarize. Yan ay number ng action potentials generated. Greater than the normal number of action potentials generated when the cell is resting. Some of the cells will have this change. Yung other cells in the labyrinth will be having cilia moving in the opposite direction. Mag-hyperpolarize yun. Magdi-decrease yung number ng action potentials generated. So less than what is generated when resting. So less than 100 yan. Tapos tinan mo, walang movement ng mga ions. Walang release ng transmitters. Okay? Nakakati mo yung potassium mo. Gusto niyang pumasok, lumabas ulit. Okay? Nakasara kasi yung mga channels. Okay? Okay? So sa canals, for us to see changes in the activity ng resting hair cells present underneath the cupula, we need to move the head, to move the canals. Kasi nga equal yung specific gravity ng cupula with the endolimb. So the receptor are not affected by gravity. Okay? Pero pag nag-activate tayo, tingnan nyo ito. When we activate the canals, sabi we need to move the head. So when the head moves, in the said direction, in the direction ng head movement. So the canals, being bony, di ba? Bony labyrinth yan. They are fixed in the temporal bone. So whatever is the direction of movement of the head, that is also the direction of movement of the canal. So same yung kanilang direction of movement, the head and the canals. Now, remember the canals, they have fluid present inside the endolimb. Now, because of inertia, yung inertial forces, di ba, we all know, the force of inertia will be always exerting an effect opposite to the direction of movement. Kaya when we move, towards the right, towards the right, yung inertial forces will be, moving towards the left. Di ba ang inertia laging opposite sa actual direction of movement? Okay? So yung head is moving to the right. The fluid present inside the canals, they're affected by inertial forces. It will move in the opposite direction. Okay? And remember, it is the movement of the endolimb that will cause displacement of the cupula. O, yun ang magdi-displace ng cupula. So the cupula will be displaced towards the left. Okay? And that will change the condition ng mga receptor hair cells present underneath the cupula. Okay? So depending sa movement niya, it can undergo depolarization or hyperpolarization. And what will cause the said changes in the hair cells? The movement of the head. O, hindi yung gravity. O, kasi yung specific gravity ng cupula is equal to the specific gravity ng endolymph. So, para ma-activate yung crista ampullaris, we need to move the head. Okay? Tapos pag resting sila, ayan, ulitin ko ha, pag resting, ayan. So, okay, naka-straight, okay, vertically position lang yung mga filaments with their body. So, resting yan, 100 to 200 impulses per second. Pag na-activate mo sila, okay, merong changes sa positioning ng hair cells. Pag unchanged, sabi nga, yung kinocilium moving away from the sterocilia, depolarize yan. So, more than 200 yung action potentials generated. If it is moved in the opposite direction, mag-hyperpolarize yan. Decrease yung activity. So, less than 100 yung generated action potentials. So, decrease ang activity niya. Pareho lang sa crista ampullaris and sa macula. Pero sa macula, it is due to the effect ng gravity. Pag sa crista, that is because of the head movement. Okay? Kaya yung utricle and saccule, essential yan for determination ng head position when the body is steady. Okay? So, walang movement. Kaya sabi, essential for static equilibrium. Determining head position and the activity ng receptor cells sa macula is affected by gravity. So, nakaka-apekto ron yung gravitational forces. Okay? But they're also needed for detection of linear movement. When there is movement, either forward, backward, sideward, without moving the head. Steady lang ang head. Nag-move ka forward, nag-move ka backward, nag-move ka sideward, to the left or to the right. Walang head rotation. Okay? Or movement ng head, either up or down, or to the right, to the left, or tilting of the head. Basta steady ang head. Nag-move yung body together with the head, or linear, forward, backward, sideward. So, the said movements, we need also to act, there will also be activation or changes in the activity no receptor hair cells in the macula. Kasi pag mga horizontal movement or horizontal acceleration, ang involved doon, macula na utricle. Pag vertical movement or vertical acceleration, macula na saccule. That this will explain why we are capable of knowing when we are riding an elevator, or even with eyes closed, if the elevator is moving up or moving down. Di ba, alam mo? So, ang involved doon, macula na saccule. They are also needed for detection of the effects ng centrifugal forces. Dapat alam nyo na yan, kung anong difference niya with the centripetal force. Dito ang concern ng macula, yung effects ng centrifugal forces sa body. Okay? Kaya yung macula, di ba, ano naka-horizontal? Yung utricle. Pero sabi, for us to really make the said macula in the horizontal position, mag-move yung head, okay? Forward with flexion of the neck. About 30 degrees. Kailangan 30 degrees. Okay? Kasi yan yung mga receptor cells sa macula. Di ba? Naka-horizontal, ayan, yung utricle. Okay? Ito. The macula na utricle, head upright. Okay? Kasi ito, if we look again at the histology ng macula, okay? Remember, di ba, ang mga hair cells present underneath the gelatinous layer. Ayan. Okay? As on top of the gelatinous layer, we have the calcium carbonate crystals. We call the statoconia or the otoconia. Normally yan, yung number or amount ng calcium carbonate crystals present on top of the gelatinous layer, yung otolytic membrane. Okay? Almost equal yan, yung amount ng calcium carbonate. Okay? Yung thickness equal, except for a certain region. Ayan, na meron parang open canal. Ayan. merong groove. Oh, when you locate that groove, importante yan. That is important. Oh, that is called the striola. Oh, ang tawag diyan striola. Oh, if you have located the striola present at the calcium carbonate crystals on top of the gelatinous layer in the macula. Okay? Okay. Mark the location ng striola. Mark mo yan. Okay? And that will help us determine the positioning or location ng different groups of hair cells present in the macula. Ito side view ito ha. Side view yan or lateral view. Okay? So we can only see the anterior group and the posterior group of hair cells. Side view kasi. So makikita lang natin yung anterior saka posterior. Okay? And look at the positioning. Importante ito. Tingnan nyo ha. Di ba yung tallest cilia o cilium, yun ang kinocilium. Yung anterior hair cells, look at the positioning ng kinocilium. They're all facing the striola. Okay? Ito naman yung posterior hair cells. The kinocilium of the different hair cells, we refer to as the posterior hair cells, they're also facing the striola. So yun ang normal positioning nila. Okay? Ng mga different groups of hair cells present in the macula. So the different groups, they have positioned their kinocilium, all of them facing the striola. So dito ang visible lang yung anterior sa posterior hair cells. Kasi side view lang ito no macula. What if we look at the top view? Ayan, top view yan. Okay? Top view ng macula, naka-horizontal yan. So that is the utricle. Remember? Naka-vertical yung saccule. Ito, naka-horizontal yan para top view. So utricle yan. Sa top view ng macula, we don't have only anterior and posterior group of hair cells. Once we have located the striola. Yung curve line na yan, red curve line, striola yan. Pag na-locate mo na siya, di ba yan yung area ng macula with lesser amount of calcium carbonate crystals. Para siyang open canal. Ayan, okay? We can now locate the different group of hair cells present on the macula. In the macula. Underneath siya ng gelatinous layer. Okay? So, yung tip ng arrow, di ba, may small arrows, di ba? The tip of arrow determines the position of the kinocilium ng hair cell. So, isang hair cell yan, sorry. So, one small arrow is one hair cell. Yung tip ng arrow, determines the position ng kinocilium. So, ito, mga posterior hair cells yan. Posterior hair cells, yung tip ng arrow, di ba yung kinocilium? That will face the striola. Or it is facing the striola. Ito yung anterior hair cells. Ayan, yung mga anterior hair cells yan. Yung tip ng arrow is facing the striola. Yan ang position ng anterior hair cells. Ito yung posterior. Is that clear? Hello? Ano sumasagot? Hello?
Yes, Doc.
Okay, yan na. Tapos ito, look at this. These are not anterior hair cells. Hindi yan anterior hair cells. Okay? Kasi if that is the position ng kinocilium, it is facing the striola. So hindi siya anterior. Ito ang positioning ng anterior. So these are not the anterior hair cells, although they are anteriorly located. Because of their position, they're the lateral group of hair cells. Lateral yan. Okay? So, pag right ear to, lateral group of hair cells yan. Ito yung medial group. Yan ang position ng hair cells. Di ba yung tip ng arrow determines the position ng kinocilium in the hair cells. Kaya it is facing the striola. Yan ang mga different group of hair cells. So we have 4 groups ng hair cells present in the macula. May anterior group, medial group, posterior group, and lateral group. All of them, they have their kinocilium facing the striola. Okay, ayan. Kaya pag may movement, may movement now, forward acceleration. So, moving anteriorly. Ayan, okay? Now, what will affect the receptor cells present in the macula? Just like the canals, it's the inertial forces. Okay? Di ba inertial force will have an opposite effect So, pag ang movement natin ay anterior or forward, yung inertial forces backward or posterior. Okay, that is the one that will affect the receptor cells in the macula. Okay? Tingnan nyo ha. So, ito na yung macula. Nag-move tayo forward. The inertial forces will be moving in the opposite direction. Yan ang effect niya. Okay? So, which group of hair cells are activated? The anterior, the posterior group of hair cells. Ay, sayang ang explanation ko. Sumasagot. Ano na-activate? Di ba yan ang effect ng inertial forces? Opposite. Which group of hair cells are activated pag nag-move forward? Hello? Andiyan ba kayo?
Yes, Doc.
So, ano nga? Ano na-activate? Yan ang pinapakita na nung araw yung effect sa hair cells.
Anterior po.
Ay, salamat. Ba't tayo agad sumagot? Alam niyo naman pala. So, activated yung anterior. Inhibited ang posterior. Kasi yung anterior hair cells, di ba yung kinocilium will be pushed or moving away from the cilia. So, magdi-depolarize yan. Ito yung kinocilium, it will be pushed towards the cilia. Hyperpolarize yan. Decrease activity. Kaya that will explain why even with eyes closed, we know we are moving forward. Kasi ang activated are the anterior hair cells present in the macula. Di ba linear acceleration yun? Forward lang, walang movement ng head. Yung inertial forces will activate the anterior group of hair cells and inhibit the posterior. Na-activate anterior, so alam mo ang movement mo, anterior or forward movement. Okay? Ito, madali lang ito kasi pag nag-move forward, we activate both anterior group of hair cells, right macula and left macula. Diba? Side view yan So pareho lang ang positioning ng anterior group of hair cells sa left macula and anterior group of hair cells sa right macula. So both right and left macula, we activate the anterior group of hair cells when there is movement forward. Pag ang movement backward, so activated pareho, right and left, posterior group of hair cells. Okay? Ang medyo complicated pag ang movement sideward. Ito, movement sideward. Yan yung orientation. Ito anterior. Siyempre, nose. Andyan ang nose, anterior. So behind the nose, ito na yung posterior portion. We have the macula, left side, ayan, ng utricle, and right side. Ito yung lateral part. Siyempre, andyan ang ears. Lateral yan. Okay? Ito yung medial part. Middle portion ng head. Middle yan. So ito yung medial group of hair cells. Ito yung lateral group of hair cells. Okay? Tapos yung blue line o yung blue curved line, that represents the striola. Kaya sabi, yung kinocilium, the kinocilium of these hair cells are near the striola. So lateral group of hair cells yan. Ito yung kinocilium niya, close to the striola. Medial group of hair cells yan. For the right macula. Ito naman yung left macula. Mirror image yan ng right side. Okay? Nag-move na yung person. Movement niya sideward. Ayan, to the right. Movement to the right. What will affect? Immediately the hair cells in the macula. Yung inertial forces. So, kung yan ang effect ng inertial forces, which group of hair cells are activated? Dalawa yan. Lateral and medial groups. So, ano ma-activate? Meron kang left macula, right macula. Ay sumagot So, dire-diretso na lang tayo para walang gulo. So, pag merong movement, to the right, the inertial forces will be exerting an effect to the opposite side. That is the one that will affect the receptor hair cells sa macula. So, ma-activate yung, magganyan ang displacement nila. Kasi nang-effect ng inertial forces. So, madi-displace yung mga hair cells in that manner. So, that will activate the right lateral and left medial. So, activated yung right lateral and left medial. Inhibited yung right medial and left lateral. Okay? So, tinan mo, na-activate right lateral and left medial group of hair cells. Okay? So, we know we are moving sideward to the right. Pag nag-move ka to the left, okay? So, opposite yung mangyayari. Ma-activate yung left lateral and right medial. Inhibited ngayon ng right lateral and left medial group. Okay? Mag-react. So, diretso na lang tayo. Okay? So, affected rin sila sa effect ng centrifugal forces. Okay? Ayan, ha? Wala naman reaction. Dito-dito na lang natin. Okay? So, pag sa semicircular canals, ganyan. Nabanggit na naman kanina yan. Tilting ng head, all canals vertical. Pag up and down, all canals vertical and horizontal. Pag shaking ng head, horizontal canals. They're also essential for detection of angular or rotatory movements. So, meron ng movement ng head. Semicircular canals. Tapos meron din siyang ability for predictive functions. Preparing the body for the said angular movement or movement ng head. Para we will not lose balance or we can still maintain posture. And the predictive functions ng canals, it is aided by activity ng cerebellum. Especially the vestibulocerebellum, also known as the archicerebellum, which is the flocculonodular lobe ng cerebellum. Okay? Na-discuss na yan, yung movement na yan ng canal. So, ayun na mag-react. Okay? So, pag nag-move daw yung head, for us to activate the crista ampullaris, we need to have acceleration ng head movement about 1 degree per second squared. Pag less than 1 degree per second squared ang movement ng head, if the acceleration is less than 1 degree per second squared, we'll never know the head is in motion. Okay? Whatever is that head movement. Okay? Kahit yung tilting, dapat ang acceleration ng head movement, it should be equal to or greater than 1 degree per second squared. Pag less than 1 degree per second squared ang acceleration, we'll never notice or determine there is movement of the head. Okay? Kasi movement ng canal, so what will affect? So, yung movement ng head para mag-move yung canals. Di ba? Fix yung canal sa petrous temporal bone. And yung dilated part niya, di ba yan? Yung ampulla. Present in the dilated part, the hair cells. Even if it is not activated, walang stimulation ng head. Di ba? Active na yan. Resting sila. 100 to 200 impulses per second. Equal yan. What does it mean? There is no movement of the head. Steady ka lang. Pag may movement, ayan, counterclockwise towards the left. Yung effect ng inertia, siyempre yung canals will also move in the same direction. But the movement ng endolimb inside the canals, it is affected initially by the inertial forces. And it will move in the opposite direction, clockwise. What will be the effects of the said clockwise movement ng endolimb sa left and right ampulla? So, hindi naman kayo sumasagot. So, ako na lang sasagot, di ba? Ma-activate ang left crista, inhibited ang right crista. So, even with eyes closed, activated ang left, we know we are moving or rotating towards the left at the start of rotation. Okay? Kasi na-activate ang left crista, inhibited ang right crista because of the movement ng endolimb due to the inertial forces. Okay? What if we stop the movement? What if we continue the movement? If we continue the movement, they are saying in the books, if you're reading your books, if the person continues the rotation towards the left, counterclockwise towards the left, the endolimb will eventually follow. It will eventually follow the direction of the actual rotation. Di ba initially sa start ng movement, opposite siya. Yung movement ng endolimb because of inertial forces. Pero if the movement is continued by the person, the endolimb will eventually follow the actual direction of rotation. So counterclockwise na rin siya. If the endolimb is moving in the same direction of the actual rotation, the receptor cells in the crista ampullaris will assume a resting position. Balik ka ulit sa resting position. So if they are saying, if you can talk to the person who is rotating, kung kaya mo kausapin yung rotating person, that person does not know the direction of rotation. Kasi yung mga receptor cells, they return to normal resting condition. So hindi niya alam na umiikot siya. O yung direction of rotation, the person has no sensation. Kasi the receptor cells as presented, they return to normal resting condition. O, pag continuous rotation. But what happens when we stop? Pag nag-stop ng rotation na yan, when we stop the rotation or movement of the canals will also stop. O, nag-stop ang head movement eh. We stop the rotation. O, fix yung canal sa temporal bone. So, stop din yung movement ng canals. But because of inertia, there is continuous movement ng endolimb. O, anong movement ng endolimb? O, di, similar na sa direction of rotation. Kasi di ba, when we continue the rotation, it will follow eventually the direction of rotation. O, when we stop the movement, it will still be moving because of inertial forces. Moving pa rin yan in the direction ng actual rotation. Counterclockwise to the left. Okay? Okay? So what is activated? So ma-activate niya ngayon ng right crista. Inhibited ang left crista. That will explain why immediately after rotation, a person will still have continuous sensation of rotation. And look at the sensation. Ang sensation niya or perception, the body is rotating to the right, opposite to the actual direction of rotation. Because of the continuous movement ng endolimb immediately after the end of rotation because of inertial forces. Yan ang sinasabing post-rotatory sensation. And what do you call that post-rotatory sensation? That is felt even if the person has already stopped the rotation. That is the vertiginous sensation. Yung tatawag na vertigo. Eventually, mawawala din yun. If you are used to rotating activities, sanay kang ikot ng ikot, pag dancer ka, mga ballet dancer, skaters, in less than a minute, return na sa normal position yung mga receptor cells sa crista ampullaris. But some persons who are not used to rotating movements, it will take a longer time for the receptor hair cells in the crista to return to normal resting condition. Kaya mas longer yung kanilang vertiginous sensation. Okay? So yun ang mga post-rotatory reactions. Ayan. So alam niyo na yan, yung vertigo, nystagmus, tendency to fall, past pointing, autonomic sensations. Okay? Didiscuss ko naman yan. O yan ang vertigo. So meron kang sensation of rotation. You feel your body is spinning or the environment around you is spinning. O yan ang mga sensation nila. Kaya sabi yan, pag sanay ka umikot, it can only last a few minutes or less than a minute. If you are used to rotating movements. But in some persons, several minutes yan. Yung mga umabot ng hours. Okay? Okay? Ayan ang vertigo. Meron ka sensation ng spinning. And if that is observed or sensed by a person, meron ka sensation ng continuous rotation, it will lead to involuntary movements ng eyeball, yung tinatawag na nystagmus. And that is not only affecting one eye, bilateral yan. Okay? Okay? Yan ang sinasabing vestibular nystagmus. Okay? And that is essential so that we can maintain fixation of looking at a certain object present in the environment. And we feel the environment is moving. So, mayroong movement ng eyeballs. Yan ang nystagmus. Okay? Yan ang vestibular nystagmus. And that is controlled by the labyrinthine structures and the higher center. That's the reason why we have two components ng nystagmus. Merong slow and fast. Yung slow component controlled by the labyrinthine structures, yung mga receptors. Yung fast component ng higher center. Okay? Kaya yung direction ng nystagmus is dictated by the fast component. Okay? So whatever is the direction ng fast component, yung quick jerk to a certain direction. Sa example, quick jerk to the right. So ito, yung nystagmus na to, sorry, hindi nagmumove. So it is said to be nystagmus to the right. Kasi ang fast component niya towards the right side. Kasi ang nagko-control dyan, higher center. Kaya the fast component, the direction of this component, indicates the direction of the nystagmus. Okay? Kasi ang involved dyan, yung vestibulo-ocular reflex. Pag nag-move yung eyeball natin, direction ng head movement natin, sa right, ayan. Yung head nag-move sa right, ayan. Ang movement ng eyeball, opposite, sa left. Involve yung vestibulo-ocular reflex using these different cranial nerves. Okay? Ito horizontal movement lang. No? Kaya wala yung cranial nerve number 4. Alam niyo naman kung ano kinokontrol na extraocular muscle ng cranial nerve number 4. Okay? Itong mga cranial nerves dito involved lang sa lateral movements ng eyeball. Ayan, yung cranial nerve number 3. Ayan, lateral rectus and so on. Okay? Di ba yung cranial nerve number 6? Ano kinokontrol niyan? Dapat alam nyo. Di ba? As another reflex associated with the vestibulo-ocular, yung oculocephalic reflex or the Dall's eye reflex. Pag nag-move ka ng head in one direction, mag-move yung eyes in the opposite direction. Pag absent yan, so may problem ka sa kay brainstem. Okay? Tapos meron tendency to fall. Tapos yung tendency to fall towards the actual direction of rotation. Okay? So after the rotation, meron tendency to fall. O yung tendency to fall of a normal person. Normal naman yun. Okay? In the direction of the actual direction of rotation. Kaya di ba example natin kayo na to the left. So immediately after the rotation, pag i-stop mo yun, because of the vertigo, may tendency to fall towards the direction of rotation, to the left. Okay? Kasi ito yung pass pointing. And pag the subject misses the object or the finger you want them to point by a few centimeters. Sabi, pass pointing has been demonstrated. Okay? Normal naman yan. Pero hindi yan normal pag ang person is stationary. Okay? Walang rotation. Okay? Ito kasi, this procedure is performed after the rotation. Pero kung walang rotation, tapos steady lang yung person mo, hindi naman nag-rotate before, tapos nag-pass point, may abnormality yan. Usually yan cerebellar. Okay? Ito, after the rotation, normal yan. The person will pass point or will overshoot or undershoot the object or whatever is that object or things you want them to point into. Lumalampas sila o kulang pagturo. Okay? Ayan. Tapos yung pass pointing, ang movement ng finger is towards the actual direction of rotation. So, to the left din. Gagalaw yun. Kasi nafe-feel niya, nag-move yung environment. Okay? Kasi may mga autonomic sensations. Ayan. So, nausea, vomiting, sweating, pallor, changes in BP, heart rate, ara. That is because of the activity ng mga brainstem neurons and the cerebellum. They have connections to the autonomic nervous system. So, na-alter yung activity ng autonomic nerves. Di ba yung sweating, nagko-control ng sweat glands? Sympathetic cholinergic. Mag-increase activity nun. Yung pallor, vasoconstriction yan, peripheral blood vessels, namumutla. The person turns pale after the rotation. Ano yung vasoconstriction? Di ba simpa din yun? Okay? As yung pag-test ng canals, initially, ang nag-perform noon si Dr. Barani. Ang tagal na niyan, okay? Ang ginamit niya, rotating chair. Tawag natin Barani's chair. Okay? So, control mo yung rotation. So, bibilisan ko ito kasi hindi naman masyadong ginagamit na ito. Pero nire-lecture pa rin. Ayan, pag horizontal position. Okay? So, observe mo yung vertigo, nystagmus tendency to fall, and pass pointing. So, yung vertigo sa nystagmus, ngayon, okay? Opposite. Di ba yung tendency to fall sa pass pointing, same direction ng actual rotation. Kaya yung vertiginous sensation sa nystagmus, opposite siya. Yung tendency to fall sa pass pointing, similar to the direction ng actual rotation. So kaya sabi, opposite, same. Okay? Ang position yan, yung head dapat horizontal ang position. Ano sabi? Kailangan 30 degrees forward. Para horizontal yung canals. Okay? Yung kanal na gusto mong stimulate, di ba anong kanal yun? Horizontal. Ayan, okay? So, dapat ang position ng head ganyan. Neck flexion, 30 degrees forward. Okay? Tapos pag gusto mo ma-stimulate all canals, dapat median plane. I-tilt mo yung head sa shoulder. Ayan, sitting head on the shoulder. Sitting on the Barani's chair. Hello, ma'am. Okay? So, wait, Sorry. Dito makikita nyo yung end-to-limb displacement, right canals, right, left canals, left. Tapos ang vertigo, di ba sabi? Okay? Opposite, opposite, same, same. Ayaw gumana. So, pag tendency to fall, same yan, forward. Okay? Pass pointing downward. Okay? So, opposite, opposite, same, same. Ang position ng head, median plane na yan. Okay? Pwede rin naman, gusto mo lahat ng vertical canals. All vertical canals. So, seating pa rin ng patient mo, subject sa Baranis chair. Pero ito, ventral flexion ng neck. Excessive na yun or maximum. Maximum ventral flexion, hindi lang 30 degrees. So, ang vertigo, ganun din. Opposite, opposite, same, same. Okay? Yung ma-observe natin. Frontal plane of rotation yan. Ang position ng person's head or subject's head o ganyan. Maximum flexion. Frontal plane of rotation yan. So, parang nilagay mo yung tao, you place the subject or the patient on a wheel. Coronal yan. Inikot mo yung wheel. Frontal plane of rotation yan. Okay? Ba't ko binadali yun? Hindi na masyadong ginagamit yun. But we still do the testing. But this time, computerized. So, meron na mga sensors attached to the person's body. So, bahala na yung mga gadgets to detect the nystagmus o yung tendency to fall. May sensors na yan to detect changes in muscular activity. So, allowing us to know, okay, if the person is having the normal direction with regards to tendency to fall and the pass pointing. Computerized na yan. Kaya hindi mo na siya i-observe maigi. You just look or wait for the results coming out from the computers. Ganun na ngayon ang Baranis testing. Okay? Kasi ano yung mga parts ng nervous system? Essential for maintaining balance. So, normally, ang maintenance ng posture involuntary. So, involve yan. Spinal cord, brainstem, cortex, cerebellum. With lesser activity ng cortex, pag involuntary, maintenance ng posture. Pag voluntary, maintenance ng posture. Okay? Yung gusto mo yung ganitong posisyon. Gusto mo So, voluntary yun. Gagamitin ng cortex. Aided now by the brainstem and the cerebellum. Pag voluntary yan, mas active ang cortex. Pero sa normal, lesser ang activity ng cortex. Mas active yung spinal cord, brainstem, and cerebellum. Involuntary, yung normal, maintenance ng body position or posture. Okay? Kasi ang cortex, dapat alam yung vestibular area. Na-discuss naman yan sa higher center. Di ba it shares centers with the somatic sensory area. Yung Brodmann areas 2 and 3 ginagamit ng vestibular system. Kasi yung Brodmann areas 2 and 3A, di ba concerned yan sa proprioception? Di ba ang proprioception helps maintain posture balance because they can detect body position. So, ayan siya. Okay? So, nasa parietal lobe din, yung vestibular cortex. Lower part ng somatic sensory area. Ang Brodmann areas 3, 1, 2. Tapos connected siya sa cerebellum, brainstem, and spinal cord. Okay? Di ba yung connection ng cerebellum sa cortex, ano tawag natin? Neocerebellum. Okay? Tapos yung brainstem, importante naman ito sa continuous activation ng mga muscles involved in maintaining posture, acting against gravity. Kaya sabi, it supports the body effectively against gravity, especially yung pons. Tapos ang kinokontrol nila, di ba mga extensor muscles ng body, mga anti-gravity muscles, usually nasa proximal portion of the limbs. Kaya tinan mo sa arm, di ba kinokontrol yung triceps. Okay? Yung nga lang, hindi siya considered na anti-gravity. Pero postural muscle siya, extensor yun. Okay? Tapos ang midbrain, di ba? Ang midbrain. Ang brainstem, made up of 3 parts. Midbrain, pons, medulla. Ang pag-maintain ng posture, yung normal posture. So we need the midbrain. Ito yung responsible sa mga writing or correcting reflexes. Kaya we always maintain the correct position. Di ba sa lecture, anong correct position ng estudyante? Dapat neck extended, head upright. If you cannot maintain a upright position ng head during a lecture, nagpe-flex yung neck, di ba nagda-drop ang head? Every time your head drops, your grade drops. Okay? Sumasabay yung grade. Okay? Pag hindi nyo ma-maintain ang posture ng head or position ng head, dapat yan parate extended neck, upright head. So, minemaintain niya ng midbrain together with the pons. Ito namang pons are normally stimulating the extensors or using the medial reticulospinal tract. They send continuously impulses to activate the said extensor muscles para ma-maintain yung posture. If we want to change the position or change the posture, gusto mo mag-flex ng lower extremity, mag-flex ng upper extremities, so we use the medulla. Iko-control niya yung activity ng extensors. Okay? Ang gagamitin niya yung lateral reticulospinal tract. Pero sa normal, pag na-maintain ng posture, yan ang importante. Midbrain and pons. Okay? Okay, sabi may mga connection sila. Di ba yan, yung vestibular nuclei connected dyan sa cerebellum. Ano yun? Yan yung vestibulocerebellum or the archicerebellum. Okay? Tapos yung pons, di ba may connection din. To control the muscles, ginagamit nila, di ba, medial reticular tract. Ayan. Pag medullary area, yung lateral reticular tract. Reticulospinal tract. Okay? Kasi sa mga vestibular nuclei, sila. Yung important nuclei, 4 lang naman yan. Pag lateral, mostly receiving impulses from the utricle. Lesser number na impulses from the canals. Kaya ito, importante ito sa static equilibrium. Di ba utricle, static yan. Pag superior sa medial nuclei, mostly from the semicircular canals, angular movement yan, kinetic equilibrium. Kaya pag nasira yung superior sa medial, ang problem ng person, kinetic equilibrium. Pag nasira lateral, static. Pag inferior, lahat sila, utricle saccule canals. So, greater ang problem mo ngayon. May problem ka pareho, static and kinetic equilibrium. If we have injury affecting the inferior vestibular nucleus. Okay? Kasi ang cerebellum, kilala nyo na to. Yung intermediate zone, yun ang paleocerebellum. Also known as the spinocerebellum. Ang lateral, ito yung cerebrocerebellum or the neocerebellum. Nakasulat na yung mga functions nila. Tapos sa posterior part, and posterior lobe, okay? Yung flocculo, most posterior, yung flocculonodular lobe. Yan yung archicerebellum. Also known as the vestibulocerebellum. Yan ang may connection directly to the vestibular nuclei. Ayan. So, importante sila sa maintenance of posture and equilibrium. But all the other parts ng cerebellum, they also help maintain balance. For muscle coordination yan sa cerebellum. And they control mostly fast movements. Pag vestibulocerebellum, yung flocculonodular lobe, yung neocerebellum, ito yung lateral portion. Ito yung concern sa motor learning. Pero involved din sa motor coordination. Pag-maintain ng posture. Ang paleo, connected sa spinal cord. Okay? Importante yan, pag-maintain ng equilibrium, especially when the person is in motion or moving. Okay? Kasi ito yung mga reflexes associated with maintenance of posture and equilibrium. Di ba ang basic reflex, yung stretch reflex, also known as myotatic reflex. Ang major receptor doon, muscle spindle. Ang center niyan, spinal cord and medulla. Pag mga supporting reaction, spinal cord yan. Okay? Involved mostly yung mga proprioceptors. Diba? Spinal cord sa proprioception, dorsal column pathway. Okay? Ayan, ha? O that, maalala niyo yun. Okay? Kasi ito yung mga tinatawag na attitudinal reflexes, yung mga tonic labyrinthine, tonic neck reflexes. Ang center niyan, medulla. Okay? Para makikita mo na na-maintain pa rin ang posture. Okay? Tignan mo, ang major stimulus gravity. So, affected otoliths or the macula. Okay? Ito yung mga attitudinal reflexes, minsan tawag primitive reflexes. So, na-observe ito sa newborn hanggang 6 months of age. Pag tonic labyrinthine reflexes, symmetrical yan. Pag nag-extend ng neck, o upright ang head, or nag-move ang head upward, all extremities, upper and lower, will undergo extension. Pag nag-flex naman yung neck, o mag-move yung head downward, all extremities, upper and lower, will undergo flexion. Kaya symmetrical siya. Tapos non-selective. Diba, pag nag-move yung head upward, all extremities will undergo extension. Nag-move yung head downward, all extremities will undergo flexion. Pag tonic neck reflexes, utilizing the proprioceptors in the neck, selective ito. Kaya sabi ang response asymmetrical. Pag nag-move yung head upward, mag-extend lang arms, naka-flex ang legs. Selective siya, extended lang ang arms. Pag nag-move yung head downward, yung legs, they want to extend the legs. Pero naka-flex yung upper extremities. Di ba sabi selective eh. Kaya ang response asymmetrical. Namimili eh. Pag nag-move yung head upward, it will only extend the arms, flex the legs. Pag nag-move yung head downward, it will flex the arms, extend the legs. Okay, sinasabing, asymmetrical tonic neck reflexes. Sa newborn lang yan, birth, from birth to 6 months of age. Minsan natawag dyan, fencing reflex. Because of the positioning ng infant when they generate the reflex. Okay? Kasi iba pang reflexes ito, mga writing reflexes, correcting or rectifying reflexes. So ano important dyan? Di ba midbrain? Almost all writing reflexes ang kailangan midbrain. Except for one. Yung optical writing reflex, we need the activity of the cortex. The cerebral cortex. Pero all other writing reflexes, tingnan nyo, all other writing reflexes, labyrinthine, neck writing, body on head, midbrain yan. Kahit yung body on body, midbrain pa rin. Pero yung optical writing reflex using the eyes, cortical na yan. Together with the placing reaction and hopping reaction. Cerebral cortex din ang center. Okay? Kasi yung vestibular function test, ito. So, nagawa nyo na iba nito. You have performed these other tests in general sensations. Okay? Before we have the galvanic stimulation. Now, they have already stopped using this test. Pinalitan na yan. Okay? We now have posturography. Computerized na rin. Okay? So, ito yung posturography. So, we can test yung static equilibrium ng patient and dynamic equilibrium. So, tingnan mo lang kung stable yung person when assuming a standing position. Okay? Titest mo yun. Okay? Tapos meron dynamic. We disturb the subject's posture when standing by means of a special apparatus with a movable platform. Tapos meron din yung movable screen in front of the subject para matest natin yung vestibulo-ocular reflex. Ayan. So, well supported yung person kasi kung meron siyang mal-equilibrium problems or equilibrium disorders, the patient might fall. Kaya well supported yan. So, dito matitest mo lahat. Ayan. Yung mga different parts ng body involved in maintaining balance. So, ayan, yung vision. Di ba yung photoreceptors? Yung vestibular apparatus. Okay? Saka yung proprioception. So, yung sa proprioceptors. So, matitest mo lahat. Yung mga different receptors involved in helping maintain position or normal position or normal posture. Okay? Tapos test mo rin yung motor activity ng person. Kasi movable platform yan eh. Pwede mo i-change ang position and look at the person when he is trying to maintain normal body position. Nami-measure niya yung reaction time. Computerized na yan. Okay? Pwede rin pag test mo ngayon vestibulo-ocular reflex, i-present or absent. Kasi nag-move yung screen. So, matitest mo yung movement ng eyeballs. Okay? Pati yung movement ng head, di ba? That platform can rotate. Okay? Yan ang computer. Pero mahal nga lang, computerized. Tapos ang ginagamit pa rin ng Baranis. Pero hindi na ganito na manual. O, di ba? Computerized na. Dati ganyan eh. Manual yan. Ganyan. Iikot mo yung chair. Tapos after the rotation, observe yung, ask the patient about the vertiginous sensation, ask mo yung tingnan mo yung nystagmus, okay? Tapos you allow the patient to stand and look, for the direction ng tendency to fall. Tapos test mo yung pass pointing. So matrabaho. Okay? Ngayon hindi na, computerized na. Okay? So no need to ask the patient. You just wait for the results coming out from the computers. Okay? Kasi ito pa isang test, yung Romberg's. So ito madali naman. Test mo yung ability ng person to maintain balance while standing with open eyes or closed eyes. Okay? Kasi yan lang, procedure. Allow the patient to stand erect with feet together, hands on the side, or cross over the shoulder or the chest. Tapos tingnan mo yung ability to maintain balance with eyes open for 30 seconds. Tapos after 30 seconds, allow the subject or patient to close the eyes. Observe again if the person or the subject can maintain balance. Madali lang ito, walang equipments. Okay. So, yung assessment niyan, assess niya yung proprioception, vestibular, and cerebellar functions. Okay? Kasi pag negative ang test, edi normal ang person, ang normal ang patient, or normal ang subject, sorry. Normal ang subject. Walang problema sa proprioception, sa activity ng vestibular apparatus, and cerebellum. Okay? Pag positive, yun ang abnormal. May loss of balance with eyes closed. So, usually ang problem niyan, receptor area. Pag positive, Romberg's test. Ang problem peripheral or sensory in nature. So, may problem sa mga proprio, may problem sa vestibular apparatus. Okay, mga sensory. Di ba yan ang positive test? Kasi merong false positive test. Pag false positive test, may loss of balance with eyes opened. Open yung eyes niya, nagkaroon ng mal-equilibrium o magsusway. Merong tendency to fall. Okay? Ang problem niyan, cerebellar. Usually. So, central ang problem. Pag false positive, Romberg's test. Pag positive Romberg's test, di ba, abnormal din. Ang problem, receptor area. Usually. Okay? Ayan na. Kaya titignan ko pa yung pasyente mo. Ayan ang Romberg's. Okay? Pag, na-maintain niya yung balance with eyes open, eyes closed. Negative yon, normal siya. Meron ding positional testing. Ito, pag pinapaduplicate mo yung position ng one extremity using the other extremity, normal yun. So usually test ng proprioception yan. Position testing Di ba ang proprioception is position sense. Okay? So pag ganyan, the subject was able to duplicate position of the right arm using the left arm. Pati yung fingers, na-duplicate niya. Ito, na-duplicate niya yung previous position ng left leg using the right leg. Anong tinetest mo dyan? Static proprio. Pag you are testing position sense and you are asking the patient to determine the direction of movement of the extremity being tested or part of the extremity being tested. Ano yan? Dynamic proprio. If you're asking for the direction of the movement. Dynamic proprio yan. Okay? Tapos pwede rin yung caloric test. Pag caloric test, we put warm or cold water sa external auditory canal to promote changes at activity ng endolymph present in the inner ear. Okay? Doon sa, di ba, canals, the utricle and saccule. So maganda rito, you can test one ear after another. So matitest mo yung right, then the left. So malalaman mo which ear is having abnormality. We can also determine kung ang problem is central or peripheral. Parang Romberg's test. Okay? Pero ito, pag Romberg's kasi, simultaneous testing ng mga structures. Dito separate. Diba? Right ear muna, tapos left ear. Okay? Pero dapat, bago mo i-perform ang test, before you perform the test, examine the ear. Kung intact yung external auditory canal, kung intact yung tympanic membrane. If the external auditory canal is obstructed by cerumen, do not do the test. Obstructed, how can you put water, cold or warm, in the canals? So clean the ear first. As pag perforated ang tympanic membrane, do not also do the test. You do other tests to determine the ability ng person to maintain posture. Okay? So sa caloric test, lagyan mo lang ng warm or cold water sa external auditory canal. Okay? Pero check mo muna yung tympanic membrane. Tapos yung temperature difference will affect activity ng endolymph. That will lead to consequent movement ng cupula. Affecting the hair cells present underneath the cupula. That can cause nystagmus. Yun ang i-observe mo. Doon sa tested ear. Yan ang temperature ng warm water. Ito yung temperature ng cold water. Kasi ang normal response, look at the fast component. Yung fast component ng nystagmus, pag warm water ang in-apply sa kanal ng external ear. The fast component ng nystagmus will be moving towards the direction of the ear with warm water, towards the stimulated ear. Pag cold water, yung fast component ng nystagmus to the opposite ear, the unstimulated ear. Yan ang normal response. So, tingnan mo lang yung keyword na cows. Cold opposite, warm same. Okay? Kaya sabi, yan ang positioning ng pasyente. Pwedeng supine, pwedeng sitting position. Okay? Tapos paglagay mo ng cold and warm water, okay? Allow it to stay in the canals for about 30 seconds. Tapos drain mo na yung canal. Then observe for the nystagmus. If you want to test the response, okay, nung other ear, wait for about 5 minutes before you test the other ear. Okay? So absence of nystagmus suggests higher center problem. Usually ang nawawala yung fast component. Okay? Pag spontaneous sa nystagmus, you are not doing anything on the patient, there is already nystagmus o inner ear problem yun. So may abnormality receptors. Okay? Pag ang nystagmus niya vertical, usually central ang injury. Pag horizontal o peripheral. Okay? Pag peripheral, sensory problem. Okay? Kasi ito yung mga vestibular disorders. So, ito yung common, mga motion sickness, minsan tawag kinetosis. Okay? Travel sickness. And so, merong motion sickness due to movement that is felt by the patient. Pag gumagalaw, okay, nahihilo siya. Okay? Kaya ito, okay, kalimitan to, naka-steady lang. Ayaw nila sumakay ng kotse, ayaw sumakay ng aeroplano, ayaw sumakay ng barko. Kasi nagkakaroon sila ng air sickness, car sickness, sea sickness. Pag gusto mo sila sumakay ng mga vehicle, painumin mo muna ng sedative para makasakay. Okay? Kasi pag sumakay sila, nahihilo. Okay? Meron din namang motion sickness due to what is seen by the patient. Okay? Yung mga nanonood sila ng tennis match. Di ba, in-observe nila yung ball, nagmo-move left and right. O iba nahihilo. Iba naman sa technology ngayon, yung mga video games. Di ba, ang bilis ng movement ng mga characters. Okay? So nagkakaroon din ng motion sickness. Yung iba, mix. Meron sila nung, okay? Motion sickness that is due to movement and motion sickness due to what is observed. Kasi ang mostly affected yan, utricle. Ang may problem, utricle. Okay? Ayan sila. Air sickness, car sickness, sea sickness, BIMS, and BRMS. Mga motion sickness yan. Okay? Meron din naman yung benign paroxysmal positional vertigo. Ito hindi naman masyadong problema. Why is it not really a problem? Nakasulat naman, it's only a benign condition. Nawawala din. Pero pag in the period ng attack, ay nako, okay, very disturbing to. Kasi hilong-hilo ka eh. Okay? Sabi, short-lasting but severe. So you cannot perform any activity. Kasi nahihilo ka. Pakiramdam mo, the environment is spinning. Yung alang masaya nga, benign. Okay? Tapos eventually, mawawala din. Okay? Now, to detect if a person is having the said problem, we do this maneuver. Ayan. Ang mostly affected yan, yung posterior vertical canals. Yun ang may problem. So we do the said maneuver. The Dix-Hallpike maneuver or bahala ka na paano pagbasa dyan. Okay? Yung Barani test. Okay? So gagawin mo lang pag-test ganyan. So initially ang patient in a sitting position. Tapos move the head, okay, to the left or the right at a 45-degree angle. Tapos immediately allow the patient to lie down on the examining table with the head hanging at the edge of the table. Ayan ha, ganyan. Tapos in the said position while the edge is hanging at the edge of the table, observe for the development of the nystagmus. Pag walang nystagmus, the person is normal. Okay? In the said side, do it on the opposite side. Okay? Observe mo. Okay? Pag may presence ng nystagmus, that indicates the problem is having, or the person is having the said problem. Yung problem is present in the subject. Okay? Ang isa pa ito, yung Meniere's. Vestibular problem din yan. Ito naman, ang problem is due to excessive production of endolymph. Kaya ang tawag nila, endolymphatic hydrops. Okay? Yan ang problem sa Meniere's. So because of the excessive production of endolymph, it affects activity not only of the utricle and the utricle, the saccule, and the canals, but also the cochlea. Kaya may problem siya, hindi lang mal-equilibrium. Hindi lang mal-equilibrium yan, dizziness. So meron din siyang hearing loss. Okay? So hindi lang mga dizziness or vertigo. Okay? So merong hearing loss yan. Kasi yung endolymph, di ba, they are not only present in the canals, in the utricle and the saccule, they're also present in the cochlea. Yan ang normal amount ng endolymph. Okay? Rough presentation ng normal amount. Ito, pag meron ng Meniere's disease, excessive na yung endolymph. And that can affect receptors present in the cell areas, even in the cochlea, affected. Sa cochlea, ang effect niya, ayan, low frequency deafness. Okay? And that will affect the apical portion of the cochlea. Remember the other name ng apex ng cochlea. Yun ang capable of reacting to low frequency sounds. And nasira mo siya because of the excessive endolymph. Kaya nagkaroon ng low frequency deafness. Okay? Yung maganda nga lang, it can regenerate pag nagamot mo. Pag sa canals, problema yan, vertigo, causing nystagmus. Pag excessive yung amount. Okay? Kaya nagkaroon ng vertigo, yan, spinning sensation. If you have that sensation, there will be nystagmus. Okay? Kasi ang nakakatuwa, meron silang low frequency deafness, but they have the ability to hear sounds which are not really present in the environment. So perception of sound in the absence of the said stimulus. We call that tinnitus. They hear these different types of sounds. Pwedeng unilateral problem yan o bilateral. Okay? Tapos sabi, what type of sounds are perceived by the patient? Di ba hindi kayo sasagot? So ako nasasagot. High frequency. Kasi nga, they are having problems hearing low frequency sounds. So, yung excessive amount ng excessive amount ng endolymph sa cochlea will affect the part of the cochlea sensitive to high frequency sounds. Na-stimulate nila yon even in the absence of the sound waves. Kaya nagkakaroon ng tinnitus, perception of sounds in the absence of the external stimuli. Kasi the excessive endolymph stimulates, even in the absence of sound. So, na-stimulate yung basal part ng cochlea. Sensitive yung sa high frequency sounds. Kaya meron tinnitus. Okay? Yan dapat makita mo sa endolymphatic hydrops. Merong sign ng vertigo, hearing problem, sensory neural hearing loss, di ba? Low frequency deafness, and complaint of tinnitus. Okay? Kaya pag diniagnose mo, dapat makita mo yun. Meron siyang complaints ng vertigo, tapos sensory neural hearing loss, you do audiometry. Okay? Tapos ayun, nagko-complain niya yung tinnitus. Okay? Kaya sa diagnosis, ang meron ka lang gagawin, you have only a thing to perform, yung audiometry. Ito sa history mo na yan. Okay? Tatanungin mo yung pasyente. You will ask the patient, okay, how frequent is the vertigo? How long? Tapos yung tinnitus, how frequent? Okay? Tapos ang treatment, hindi na masyado natin kasi ang treatment, first year pa lang kayo. Pero usually, bibigay lang low salt diet. Di ba ang endolymph fluids, bawasan mo yung salt to lessen the amount of fluids in the body. Okay? Tapos ito, yan ang audiometry. Yung pinapakita dyan, that is indicative of low frequency deafness. Dapat maalala nyo sa hearing lecture nyo. So low frequency deafness yan. Sensory neural hearing loss. Sabi, which ear? Pag ganyan ang resulta, red circles, right ear yan. Okay? Ayan, dinidiretso ko na. Wala naman sumasagot sa inyo. Okay? Ayan. Oh. Tapos ito, ginamot lang, low sodium diet o low salt diet. O nag-improve na yung patient. Nabawasan na yung problems niya. Tapos wala na yung lesser na yung vertigo, nystagmus. Hindi na masyado nahihilo. Tapos nagbalik na sa normal, yung hearing acuity. Okay? Ayan. Normal lang ngayon ang kanyang audiogram. Okay?